I got a couple of challenges for you. I challenge you to get you a decent haircut because Stone Cold said so, and that's the bottom line.
So we're about a month removed from the issues that Austin Holloman had in Brazil, and now he's in Thailand doing his thing. And there's a parade of creators who made tons of content basically celebrating the fact that he had the mishap. The question I would like to ask is, why are so many people so happy to see a young man have a difficult time? The simple answer is misery loves company. People who are miserable want other people to be miserable.
All of the demographic evidence suggests that women have become increasingly unhappy since the early 1960s. So, the cross-sectional studies continually conducted year after year show precisely that.
Otherwise, you would be happy for a young man who's being happy, and you would feel bad for a young person who runs into mishaps. So the better question is, why are so many people miserable?
And it could easily be because they're taking on more and more responsibility. You think, well, you have a career and it's fulfilling and all of that, but it's not just fulfilling.
Especially the young ladies.
Stressful and difficult, and if you have a career and a family, especially if you're a single mother, well, good luck to you.
That made the videos that I'm mentioning here. So Camille Paglia, what is your theory on why women are unhappy?
All of these problems of today are the direct consequence of women's emancipation and freedom from housework, thanks to capitalism, which made it possible for women to have jobs outside the home for the very first time in the 19th century, no longer to be dependent on husband or father or brother, right? And so this great thing that's happened to us, that allowing us to be totally self-supporting, independent agents, has produced all this animosity between men and women, because the women feel unhappy.
She speaks very fast, but we now live in a society where basically women who have become, office workers and day workers are essentially being treated the same as regular men. What a lot of young women are understanding is that being treated like the regular run-of-the-mill guy is not as exciting as it was sold. Being a person who gets up, goes to work, comes home, and pays bills, that's what it's always been for the average run-of-the-mill guy. A lot of women now have the opportunity to do that. I think that's something that's contributing to the fact that more now than pretty much ever before there's been a declining happiness since the 60s. And this is a part of it.
As the women feel unhappy. Women today, wherever I go, whether it's Italy or Brazil or England or America, or Toronto, the upper middle class professional women are unhappy, miserable. And they don't know why they're unhappy. They want to blame it on men.
What a lot of people assume is that their unhappiness is because men are doing something that is causing their direct unhappiness, when you think going to a steel mill working 10, 15 hours a day was happiness. I don't think that was happiness. You think going down in coal mines was happiness? That wasn't happiness. I can assure you that much.
The men must change. Men must become more like women. No, that is the wrong way to go. It's when men are men, and understand themselves as men, are secure as men, then you're going to be happier.
Yeah, well, there's nothing more dangerous than a weak man.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially all these quislings, spouting feminist rhetoric. When I hear that, it makes me sick. But here's the point: men and women have never worked side by side ever.
So she goes on for a little while, but the gist of what she's saying is, this is probably the first or second generation of young women who basically understand their destiny lies 100% completely in their hands now. They're supposed to go to work. They're supposed to take care of their financial obligations, and no one's coming to save them. There's no love story where some guy swoops in on the carpet and says, I'm going to make you my, queen. That is just an ideal that is kind of sort of dying in the West. And I think there's an underlying frustration there, and it manifests itself in different ways. I think the main way it manifests itself is that if I'm unhappy, then I want to see the men alongside me unhappy as well. And that's what makes this post by Austin Holloman just such a masterful post. For a lot of men, we understand that in life, the best we can hope for is contentment with some happiness. But unfortunately, what's happened for a lot of young ladies in the West is they're looking for happiness. And when I talked about the men that are in the steel mills and doing the factory work, you only get glimpses of this.
You know what? I want somebody to take care of me like my mama did.
Me?
Why not? Yes. Why would I not? Y'all like, oh yeah, you want a second mom. Why not? My mama loved me when I grew up.
So when I have a baby, I'm gonna love my baby.
The same, we need to be loved equally. So.
What does that look like to you? That looks like happiness, right? There is no bigger weapon that men in this space where we're going overseas and guys becoming passport bros, there's no bigger weapon that guys can have than to find happiness. Because generally speaking, it's always been hard for men to find happiness. Men work, take care of family, and occasionally you have happiness in having a son or a daughter or having family that you're contented with. But the idea of searching for happiness has never been part of the male ideal. Now, being content, that's different. And that's something you see with a lot of traditional ladies, is that they're content in having a happy family. But the idea of finding happiness is fleeting, because you can easily get bored with what you're doing. And thus we have maybe a third generation of young ladies that are looking for this vague idea of happiness, and is making a lot of people just unhappy. When you see a video like Austin Holloman like this, and he's not only is he succeeding, but he's happy, it is a shot across the bow. It is passport bros are up.
That's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
A lot of people are just unhappy, and they want other people to stay unhappy because they're unhappy. And for passport bros that are going overseas finding happiness, it's the ultimate weapon in this back and forth, because it simply says, I found a way to find my happiness without you. It is what it is. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.